What is your American dream?
We won the diversity lottery. But my parents and then my siblings and I got the chance to come because of that. But I always remember, like my dad saying when we were here, like, look, we did not move to America just so that you guys could play around. We moved for a better education. So get yourselves together. We moved around a lot, right? Because at some point we couldn't afford to be in our apartment. So I remember from apartment, we moved into a motel for a couple of months. But it was 6 of us in a 1-bedroom. Even though we were in a motel, at that point, my siblings and I, we didn't really understand that meant poverty. It was later down the line that you realize, oh, wait a minute, that's an unfortunate situation. I mean, now we've lived in stable housing for over 10 years. I mean, my goal is that we'll eventually be able to buy a home, have my parents' my own home. We're still renting, but we've not had to move for over 10 years. So it's been awesome to be able to see us get our foot on the ground. Of course, when we come, we depend on government subsidies, but to see us gradually fade away from that. So my American dream is that I want to be able to buy my parents their own home for the first time. Seeing that happen.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Brad Show Live. It is Thursday, October 7th, 2021. I apologize for yesterday. I was just a tiny bit under the weather. Today, Yo-Yo is a tiny bit under the weather, but I have always joined who is always above the weather.
I was just going to say that.
You are above the weather.
I am.
What does even that mean, under the weather? I guess you're under a bad cloud, I guess?
I stay on top, Brad, so I don't know what it's like to be at the bottom. I don't know what it's like to be under.
There you got it. Yo-Yo under the weather today. I'm under the weather yesterday. Vanessa always on top of the clouds. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on Facebook, Vanessa. I logged in late, so I apologize, because once you log in to Facebook, that's when you start seeing comments. So anybody Anybody who commented before I logged in, I apologize. They're all going to get insulted. I didn't say hello to them, but I don't see the comments until I log in, so I apologize. Latoya, his Forever Pitterson, squad up. Elizabeth Francis, how are you? Christy Consali, Barbara Bedward, squad up family, how are you? I said Elizabeth Francis. Cordella watching, Yvonne Hemmings, squad up. And who else we got here? Ma Dukes. Ma Dukes. What's happening? Jody Joy, I see you watching. And Abadoun Jamo, squad up. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Jovita Pinello, saying hello. I guess Jovito. I should pronounce that right. Jovito Jr. Pinello, saying hello. Squad up, Jovito. Shan Smith, squad up. Mirachik, squad up. How are you? Norcia Joaquim, saying hello. All new viewers, right?
And some new names.
They'll watch a few times. Watch Norcia Joaquim and Jovito next week saying squad up family.
They'll come around.
Jean Love saying hello. Tali, squad up. Ali Ikram watching you from Chicago. How are you? Anizo Bay, squad up. Avril Miller. Sharon Cuthbert. We haven't seen Sharon in a while. She pops in and pops out. Jose Monday. It's not Jose Monday. Hosea Manday.
I was going to Manday. But it's Thursday.
I said Jose, it's Thursday. I said he should only be commenting on Monday if that was his name. But it's Hosea Manday. Brad is all the way up. Abdul Karim. And I apologize. It's my eyes. I really need to wear glasses, and I don't.
You don't.
I never do, and I really need to see it. Sometimes you'll see when we're doing our schmooze, and I say, can you play that again? Because I can't
see it.
I can't see it. So I'll do a little hint. So I need glasses. I don't like to wear glasses.
I use contacts.
I look, I mean, some people look very good in glasses.
Is that not your take on it?
It's not my look. It's not my look. I also don't look good in hats.
It's also really good to be able to look at things.
Yes.
So it's not about what you look like,
Right,
it's being able to see things.
Right, well, that's like, sometimes you'll see me like going like this, on the, Alcide Camara, squad up, how are you? Avril Miller, Cordella Douglas is double fisting season changes. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right,
Changes.
A little calmness there. Thank you very much.
As the season changes to fall.
Yes.
Namaste.
David Burseril, squad up. Sheldon Reed. Neha Gandhi. Hi, everybody. Wow, a lot of people. Mark Clark, squad up. Susie Q. Sharon Cuthbert. Rosemary Barnes with a pre-schmooze question. We always do one pre-schmooze question.
Yep.
Good evening, squads. My question is, will the non-issuing of visas until 2022 affect those waiting on an interview date? They are processing immigrant visas. I'm not sure what you're referring to about they are not processing visas. Some embassies faster than others. Some embassies closed. Some embassies working not so fast. Some embassies short-staffed. But they are processing cases for the most part. And I believe I saw somewhere, it is Poetry Thursday.
It is in there.
Where is it? Here it is. Because this is a poetry about you, Vanessa, I'll read it. I was going to let you read it. But because this is poetry about Vanessa, March 2020 began the pandemic. Guess which academic hasn't been in the studio since the epidemic? She's been remote, but she's back today. Welcome back, Vanessa. Hip, hip, hooray! We like that.
That was so good.
We like that.
I'm honored I got my customized Poetry Thursday.
That's right. There was no mention of Brad, no mention of Yada.
My day's made.
Just Vanessa.
I appreciate it.
Just Vanessa. And because I was not mentioned in the poetry, J. Rhymes' check may bounce this week. I apologize. No, I'm only kidding. His check will not bounce this week. All right, take it away, Vanessa.
Okay, squad, it is time to share. Before we get into schmoozing with Brad, we need you guys to share on all platforms, watching on YouTube and Facebook. The only way that we can get more and more squaddies on here is by you guys sharing, because today we are going to be sharing headlines including the fact that refugee admissions into the United States are at its lowest in 40 years.
True.
Brad?
That is true.
And it is Wacky World News Thursday, so we'll be spanning the globe for stories that make you go, including one about a man in Turkey who has taken finding yourself to a whole new level.
Yes, wait till that one. That is like Jim Carrey. I hope he's watching, because if they're going to do Dumb and Dumber 4, here's your story. Here it is. And later in the show, after I answer your immigration questions, after we check in with social media, Vanessa will be scouring your comments both on Facebook and YouTube, asking me the top questions, issues, and problems. After we do all of that, later in the show, we're going to hear the last part of my interview with Ukrainian-American inventor and CEO of Better Way Goods Limited Liability Corporation, Alina Kravchenko, about her recent appearance on the ABC TV show Shark Tank and her advice to up-and-coming entrepreneurs. You ready to schmooze?
Alrighty, let's get into schmoozing with Brad.
I think every week now, life seems to be yelling louder and louder every week.
I feel like schmoozing gets harder and harder to pronounce as the show goes on.
All right, so as Vanessa said, according to the State Department, the United States admitted a total of 11,411 people through the Refugee Admissions Program in all of 2021. It was the lowest number in 40 years, lower than any of the 4 years Donald Trump was president. Now, the previous low, 11,814, was the last year of Donald Trump, when the coronavirus pandemic delayed a lot of people's processes. Now, for years, the United States has outpaced other countries. We have been a country that has been built on give us your tired, your poor, whatever's on the on the Statue of Liberty, accepting millions and millions and millions of refugees. Under Donald Trump, He slashed the refugees. He said, Donald Trump said, I don't want, famous shithole country comment. He slashed it. Now Biden tried to raise the ceiling to 62,500 refugees. That's great that he said we're going to allow 62,500 refugees in for 2021, but that's words. He hasn't yet rechanged the process of what Donald Trump made it extraordinarily difficult for refugees to go through a process. Those processes are still extraordinarily difficult. So yes, it's nice to say you're going to raise the refugee limit to 62,500, but you got to actually change the procedures to allow 62,500 people to come in. Next year, another great number, 125,000 refugees for 2022. But most experts, and by the way,
that's almost double.
And by the way, I say most experts because I am not an expert. I'm an expert in asylum, but refugees really, as an immigration lawyer in New York, I don't see a refugee until they've already immigrated to the United States of America. They're doing it from another country. They're doing it through, different social service groups. It's not a paid lawyer thing. So I'm not an expert in the refugee process, but there are experts out there. And they're saying that even though Biden has made the cap 125,000 for 2022, there's no way that's ever going to be reached. Now, Krish O'Mara Vignaraja, President and CEO of Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, said in a statement that we are very saddened but unsurprised by the record low admission figures for this fiscal year. It speaks to the lasting damage of the Trump administration's 4-year assault on the refugee program. She added, rebuilding the program from the rubble has further been complicated by the pandemic, which has largely prevented the federal government from processing a robust pipeline of refugee arrivals. So I don't know what needs to happen in terms of the process for this.
Now, looking at these numbers, it seems like Biden's opening this up, the admissions, and it's doubling Trump's numbers here almost when he said 62,000 refugees and now 2021 and opening up will double.
He wants to open it up. Okay.
Is that going to delay processing?
You know what? I want to win the lottery every day too. Okay, that's all wishful thinking.
Okay.
So unless they're going to do something about it, unless you're going to do something about it, it's just all talk.
Okay, there it goes. Because I'm like seeing this double up, and I'm just
right. And this doesn't even include the Afghan refugees. Okay, how many people do we talk about all the time who are still in hiding in Afghanistan? Refugee resettlement organizations, they're working to find homes for tens of thousands of Afghans who fled the Taliban when the Taliban seized control of the country this year. Many of those evacuees were paroled into the United States and did not come through the resettlement program. They're not being counted as refugees. So if you count the Afghan refugees, then obviously it is not a record low. But those aren't considered part of the refugee program from the rest of the world.
Okay, different circumstances.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and Attorney General Merrick Garland, they're going to Mexico City tomorrow. They are going to discuss the root causes of migration with the president of Mexico. There's a lot on the agenda, dealing with the border, dealing with guns crossing from the United States to Mexico, dealing with opioids crossing from Mexico to the United States, dealing with the root causes of migration, not only in Mexico, but Central America. And that's obviously poverty and a lack of jobs. I don't know what these talks are going to do to solve huge problems that have been going on for forever. But they're going to talk, and they feel
wishful thinking.
They are going to get something done. We'll see what happens. We'll see what, we'll know more after than before. Meanwhile, some good news, but only temporary good news, Vanessa. A federal judge in Texas issued an order blocking the state's 6-week abortion ban. It's not even a 6-week abortion ban. It's a ban on abortions if there is a fetal heartbeat. And doctors say, or the medical books say, generally speaking, there's a fetal heartbeat at or around the 6-week mark, which is only a week or two after a woman may realize or may never realize that she's pregnant, because you miss your menstrual cycle. And some women's cycles are all over the place, and some people don't even realize it. And some women, in babies or unborn fetuses in the womb, sometimes the fetal heartbeat's after 5 weeks. Texas has made a law that said that if a doctor performs an abortion on any woman for any reason, even if the woman was raped, even if the child is going to be born deformed with Down syndrome, whatever it may be, even if the mother's life is in danger, and a doctor performs an abortion after a fetal heartbeat is discovered, a private person can bring a lawsuit against that doctor for $10,000.
Wow.
So basically, now, the government officials enforcing the ban, the Texas legislature deputized private citizens to bring state litigation against any clinic that performs an abortion. Those who assist a person obtain an abortion that violates the ban can also be targeted. So it's $10,000 not only for the doctor, for the nurse who may have assisted, for the secretary who answered the telephone, for the cab driver who took the person.
They were all aware.
Right, for the cab driver who took the person to the clinic, for the pharmacy technician who sold her Tylenol maybe and knew she was going for it. I mean, who knows? I mean, it can go on. It could be your best friend who you confided in who said, go take an abortion, or go get an abortion, or go consult about abortion. So then all of a sudden there's a private litigation that you say, okay, well, $10,000. Okay, well, now abortion's only available to rich people because they'll pay the doctor $20,000. The doctor will pay the person who sues them $10,000, and the doctor still made $10,000.
Yeah.
But doesn't work that way. It's $10,000 across the board for everybody.
Everyone. Wow.
So basically, nobody is going to assist in that because it's just going to be too costly. Who would ever work in a clinic? You work in a clinic as an employee in a clinic. Every time you're going to get, every abortion you're going to get sued. No one's going to work for you. So it basically shuts everything down, even if a doctor wants to do it. So now a judge U.S. District Judge Robert Pittman said in a decision, from the moment SB 8, that's the law that bans the abortion, went into effect, women have been unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their lives in ways that are protected by the Constitution. That other courts may find a way to avoid this conclusion is theirs to decide. This court will not sanction one more day of this offensive deprivation of such an important right, the right being a woman's right to choose what to do. Now, two things about this, okay? Number one, it's on the ground, it's not going to change a lot. And the reason it's not going to change a lot is because the state of Texas is going to appeal into the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. In the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most conservative appellate court in the United States, the expectation is that they will overturn this judge's decision, and this case will end up in the Supreme Court of the United States. If the appellate court overturns this decision, during this time period in which the federal judge says it's okay to give an abortion, let's say, okay, so we're now, October 7th, okay? And let's say the Fifth Circuit hears the case in March, and next October 7th, 1 year from today, overturns the decision and says, nope, this law is good. It's retroactive back to the day the law went into effect. So all these doctors and all people who may want to help women choose whether to have that abortion or not would then be back on the hook for this $10,000.
Wow.
So until it is finally settled, nobody's going to do anything in Texas. I mean, you'd be pretty foolish to do that.
Yeah.
So now, 1973, for those who don't know, Roe versus Wade, that gave a right for women to make a decision on their own bodies. Doesn't say that abortion is right. Doesn't say abortion isn't right. What it says is it's up to a woman to decide what is right and what is wrong for her own body. Now, with the exception of one doctor who wrote a Washington Post Post op-ed claiming he had performed an abortion that violated the ban, every clinic, as far as we know, at least publicly, has complied with this law. So since this law went into effect, one abortion in the entire state.
Wow. Wow. And Texas is huge.
Yeah.
I'm so upset at all that stuff. That news is not my favorite.
No, it's not. So now Planned Parenthood says its Oklahoma providers have seen a 133% increase in patients from Texas, while its providers in New Mexico have seen a 67% jump in patients from Texas. So people are traveling to other states to do the abortions, but not everybody can do it. Obviously, there is a cost in going, there's a value in time in going, and then there's the ability to actually travel a long distance, who has a car, who can get on the train, you know.
I feel like it's already enough weight if a young woman or if a woman doesn't want this to happen, and then to figure out like how to get it done. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, can
I have to leave the states in order to, you know what I mean?
Can you picture yourself as maybe a single woman, okay, pregnant,
right?
No, especially
unfortunate event, maybe let's say,
right, whatever it
like
may be. Maybe you don't have a support system. You're all alone. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Now, following up on what I said in the beginning, which is it's not a law that bans abortion after 6 weeks. It's a law that bans abortions
the heartbeat.
As of the heartbeat. In a court filing from the Whole Woman's Health, its president said that among the patients who have shown up to their Texas clinics earlier than 6 weeks into their pregnancies, or who weren't sure how far along they were, 56% had to be turned away because there was already a heartbeat.
Wow.
So people came less than 6 weeks, and more than half got turned away.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yes, more than trifling.
Like beyond trifling.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to ultimately end up in the Supreme Court. And my concern, I see where it's going.
No, I know. When we started discussing, and then Florida was considering it.
Yeah, I see where it's going. The Supreme Court is going to end up that, with some exceptions, maybe, you know, saying that states can't outright ban abortion. But what they're going to do is they're going to say it is a state's rights to set the parameters of abortion. And what they're going to say is that each individual state has the right to set their parameters within what I believe that Supreme Court's going to say is wide parameters to almost ban it, if not outright ban it. And we're going to end up with, again, two separate countries. One country where women have a right to choose, and one country, another part of the country, where they don't. And we know where those dividing lines are going to be. Who's voting Democrat will have pro-choice, and who's voting Republican more likely will have some either partial or full bans on abortion. That's my expectation. I'm not a Supreme Court expert, but from what I see, reading the tea leaves, that's what's going to happen. They're going to say it's states' rights to choose, and then certain states are going to partially ban or fully ban abortions to the limit that the Supreme Court allows them to. And meanwhile, because we can never get out of the pandemic ever, Vanessa.
Nope. Need that.
Nope. 44 million confirmed coronavirus cases, more than 707,000 deaths attributed to coronavirus since our pandemic started in March of 2020. Pfizer and biotech both announced today, the Pfizer shot, that they have asked federal regulators to authorize emergency use for children ages 5 to 11. The Food and Drug Administration and Centers for Disease Control will need to sign off on the vaccine before it becomes available to children. An independent expert panel will review the data on October 26. Pfizer said in their clinical trials last month that the vaccine was safe and effective for children ages 5 to 11, at 1/3 of the dose. They gave 1/3 of the dose to kids. The study of 2,200 volunteers showed they mounted the same type of strong immune response to the vaccine as teens and young adults. Meanwhile, 2 studies, both in Israel and Qatar, even though it's pronounced, you read it as Qatar.
Guitar.
But
That's
Qatar.
usually how that's
It's
usually how I
Qatar.
say it.
Qatar. Published in the New England Journal of Medicine yesterday, says that the Pfizer vaccine, their immunity starts waning after 2 months. However, even though it wanes after 2 months and your immunity starts to get reduced from COVID after 2 months of the Pfizer shot, you still, months and months later, have more than a 90% chance, if you come into contact with COVID and get sick with COVID, that you would not be hospitalized as a result. So if you're saying the Pfizer shot doesn't work anymore because I'm not protected from COVID, well, maybe after 2 months it may not. But if you're saying the Pfizer shot does work because I'm taking it to prevent me from dying,
Right.
then it still works. Okay? So if the goal is survival, the thing works.
Yeah.
If the goal is I don't want to sniffle,
Then
it doesn't work after 2 months. So basically, you may get COVID after the Pfizer shot more than 2 months. Okay? That's within the first 2 months you shouldn't get it. After 2 months, according to this new study, it's possible you get it, but still have more than a 90% chance if you do get it, you're not going to be hospitalized, you're not going to have severe disease. And I think that's I think ultimately that's what we want.
Right.
Okay, we can't prevent somebody from sneezing. Okay, I can't say, you know what, my nose is stuffy now.
Yeah.
But I can say, you know what, this thing is preventing me from going to the hospital, so it's doing its job.
Yep.
And that is what is going on. Ready for some wacky news, Vanessa?
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
As I leave the flight.
We should have blacked out Yo-Yo. Just blacked out his face there, you know.
Just for today.
Yeah, he's not on our plane today.
Just for today,
Yeah,
okay?
he's not on our plane today. All right, just me and you. So meanwhile, I hope Jim Carrey, you know the movie Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yes, I can't wait for the squad to hear this one.
All right, I hope Jim Carrey is watching because this is going to be in Dumber and Dumber 4. A Turkish guy decided he was reported missing after a night of drinking in the woods. And he got drunk in the woods. Nobody knew what happened to him. We didn't know what happened to him. He could have got abducted. He could have got killed. He could have fallen off a cliff. They sent out a search party. He was in, all over the place. And they started a search party, fanning out in the woods in this Turkish town, looking for this man. His name is Biyan Moltu from Inigal. And he was in Kayaka for a construction job when he and his friends spent an evening drinking in the woods, and the friends lost the guy. Now the friends all went back to the villa to sleep at 2 a.m., but this Turkish guy, he never showed up. Nobody knew what happened. The friends woke up in the morning. They called the police. The police started a search party. Local townsfolk started a search party. And this guy who's stumbling in the woods comes across a search party looking for a missing man.
Right.
So what does he do? He joins the search party looking for this missing man, not knowing
that he's the missing man.
Is the missing man. The construction worker said he woke up the next morning. He encountered a search party who said they were seeking this missing person. So he said, I'm going to join the search party. I'm going to find this Turkish man too. And he didn't realize for at least an hour that he was the person they were looking for until some of the other search members started shouting out his name. And he goes, wait a second, that's me.
Can you imagine? You just bump into the search party, you're Turkish, and you're like, oh no, we gotta find this other Turkish man.
Yeah.
I need to find my people. I am that person.
He is that person. So the guy says, they called out my name, Biyan Moltu. Biyan Moltu. I said, oh wait, that's me.
I've heard this story earlier this week. I
God.
laughed about it with you, and then laughing about it with the squad again because it's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I mean, this is like Dumb and Dumber, right?
It sure
right?
is.
Like it's like called Jim
It might
Carrey.
be worse. What does my back say?
Exactly. No, Now, Mutlu was interviewed by the police. I have to tell you, they were not happy, but they did not charge him with a crime, and he was released. But he was interviewed. They were interviewing him to figure out what they could do to this guy.
Squad. Do not lose yourselves, friends. Do not lose yourselves. Stay focused.
Exactly. All right. Meanwhile, an Israeli archaeologist, they found a rare ancient toilet in Jerusalem dating back more than 2,700 years. Apparently, people in Jerusalem, in what is now obviously Israel. But back in Palestine 2,700 years ago, were sitting on toilets. Obviously relatives of mine.
Right.
Knowing me, that's probably relatives of mine somewhere. The Israeli Antiquities Authority said the smooth carved limestone toilet was found in a rectangular cabin that was part of a sprawling mansion overlooking what is now the old city of Jerusalem. It was designed for very comfortable sitting with a very deep septic tank dug underneath. Can you imagine 2,700-year-old toilet?
Man.
That's what I say, man.
There's been probably a lot of crap that's taken.
That is.
A lot of crap is taken.
Now back 2,700 years ago, all right, according to the Israeli Antiquities Authority, only the very rich could afford toilets. He said that it was probably a famous rabbi, and he said, adding that a famous rabbi once suggested that to be wealthy is to have a toilet next to his table. Who's next to the table? What kind of rabbi is this?
Okay, now well, you said these were probably related. What do you think about that?
What do I think about having a toilet next to the table?
Or that's where your value is.
I would not want the toilet in the same place where I'm eating. That's what I have to think about.
It's just for immediate, it's a convenience thing.
Yes, right. So apparently 2,700 years ago, that's what they did. Now, the archaeologists found stone capitals and columns from the era and said that there was evidence of a nearby garden with orchards and aquatic plants. More evidence that those that were living in this home with this 2,700-year-old toilet were very wealthy people. They must have been friends of the king.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? The friends of King David or King Solomon.
That's what I'm getting.
Right? Or one of the kings, right? Meanwhile, talking about rich people, Vanessa. A new Pokemon Oreo has fans getting very excited. Launched in September, the new Oreo X Pokemon collaboration features the brand's traditional Oreo cookie sandwich with one of 16 Pokemon monsters on it. On an eBay search, yields dozens of Pokemon Oreo cookies for sale. Anywhere, they're just selling the cookie, not the whole package. Anywhere from $50 to $10,000 to $100,000. Would you buy a $100,000 Oreo cookie?
Bradford, I love Oreos. I love double stuffed Oreos. I would never pay $10,000 for an Oreo.
You want to know why? I wouldn't even pay $50 because you could go to the local store, buy a whole package for $4.99 or whatever it is, right? But there are collectors out there who are collecting these cookie packages. It was like, remember in the Seinfeld episode where Elaine's boss, collected antique cakes and had like a 50-year-old cake, and then Elaine ate it and not realizing it was an antique cake. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I mean, but that just reminds me of that, that Seinfeld
that cake
episode.
Is probably more valuable than these Oreos.
Yeah. Can you imagine you get the Oreo Pokemon and your kid shows up and eats the cookie?
And you paid $10,000?
You paid $10,000 for it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny cookie story if you want to know a funny cookie story.
Tell me, Brad. Now I want to know a funny cookie story. When
I had Lucky and T-Bone, my kids bought Lucky and T-Bone for Valentine's Day. I'm going back 10 years now. Lucky and T-Bone, my dogs. Bought for Valentine's Day, maybe more than 10 years ago, maybe 12, 14 years ago, a little heart-shaped cookie.
Okay.
For two of them. And they left them on the counter of the kitchen. And it was Valentine's Day, and I see these two heart-shaped cookies. I didn't know they were dog cookies.
No.
And I ate the dog cookie. And I spit it out, and I said, this is the worst damn cookie I ever ate in my life. Who would buy such a cookie? So knowing that story, I would never buy the Pokemon Oreo cookie because somebody will inadvertently eat it.
Well then.
Like I just ate the dog cookie.
Oh my
True story.
That was a good. I didn't know where you were going with the cookie story. I'm like, there can only be a cookie story can only be so good. That was good.
That was a good one, right?
And that was wacky.
That was wacky, right?
Yeah.
It's Wacky Thursday. And finally, this is really wacky stuff.
I'm here with you.
All right, talking about money. A Japanese princess is giving up her Japanese title for love. I don't know if this is wacky or this is love. Not only is she giving up the princess title, but she's also has to return $1.3 million in her dowry because she is not marrying who the emperor wants her to marry, or I guess who under tradition she's supposed to marry. She is Emperor Naruhito, is the niece of Emperor Naruhito's niece. Her name is Princess Mako, and she is set to leave the imperial family. She is the second person to leave the family. First Harry.
Well, I was just gonna say.
First Harry, now Princess Mako.
Royalty
of
is
Japan.
rebelling.
They are rebelling, right? And she is set to marry Komuro Kai, a ponytailed lawyer who has no royal heritage whatsoever. She could have also married a bald lawyer like myself. I also have no royal heritage, but she chose instead.
She'll rebel to New York. She'll
chose,
take it all back.
I would have liked to have married a princess, but no. She decides to marry the ponytail guy instead. I always lose out to the guy with the ponytail.
At least it's a colleague.
Yes. I always lose out to the guy with the ponytail. All right, Komuro Kai, the date is set for October 26th. She's 30 years old. She's too young for me anyway. And he's 30 years old, and Princess Mako is going to turn 30 this month.
Me too.
And
this is the day before my birthday, October 26th. I'm the 27th.
Wow. J Rhymes' birthday rhyme for...
Thanks. I'll look forward to that.
And they've been postponing their wedding plans for years as this controversy has been ongoing. But now they finally decided to tie the knot. She's giving up the $1.3 million. She's giving up her royal highness. Would you give up the $1.3 million and the royal name? I mean, she's basically pulling Prince Harry.
She's definitely pulling a prince. I mean, we don't know how these things go. Like, it's easy from the outside to be like, what? $1.3 million?
That's a lot of money.
Royalty? But just how we see in the UK, it's a lot of rules you need to follow. You don't get to like really live your life because you are royalty. So
I know, okay, but Meghan knew what she was getting into. I don't want to get into it, but come on, Meghan. You knew what you were getting into, and then all of a sudden you don't know what you're getting into?
I think the princess knows what she was getting into, too.
Yeah, well, maybe, she's pulling a Harry. She gets the publicity. Nobody ever heard of Princess Mako before, maybe outside of Japan.
Right.
I mean, she's not a household name, certainly in the United States of America.
Right.
And now maybe she'll become a household name, and people will, she'll be able to make money off the fact that she gave up her title and her money. Well, just like Harry, I don't know.
We know her name now.
I know her name now. All right, that's our Wacky World News. The princess giving up the money, the man lost in Turkey, and Brad eating dog cookies. There, you got it. Thank you very much.
That was great.
All right, in today's Braducation, I explain what an ESTA visa is, who's eligible for an ESTA, and why. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Immigration Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. U.S. immigration law is complex and the regulations are constantly changing. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. Now, there are 39 countries enrolled in the United States Visa Waiver Program that allows citizens of those countries to travel to the United States for tourism and stay for 90 days without a visa with an ESTA, which is the digital travel authorization to the USA you obtain online. Now, why are some countries in the visa waiver program and citizens of those countries can get ESTAs and citizens of other countries can't? Well, the United States determines if your country is in the visa waiver program based on two statistics. One is the percentage of people who overstayed their visas from your country. The other is the percentage of people who were refused visas from your country. Countries with low percentage rates of both visa overstays and visa refusals get into the United States visa waiver program. All right, it's our meat and potatoes of the show where you get to ask me your immigration questions. We have Neil in South Richmond Hill. And by the way, whoever is answering our phones, I disconnected the person on line 2. Please call them back. My apologies, line 2. You were waiting a long time. All right. Neil, how are you in South Richmond Hill, New York?
Yeah, hi, Brad. I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good, good. How can I help you?
My Wawa I-360 case got approved and my I-485 got denied, and I filed a motion
Why was your I-45 denied?
Because of a fraudulent document that was submitted, and
when and what was the fraudulent document submitted?
Me and my wife, we submitted I-130 before Wawa. And at that time, she gave a joint sponsor document.
Oh, I think you called before, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, I remember the story. Okay, so
actually, I have few more questions I missed on that day.
I have to call you back. So you made a motion to reopen. You need a waiver. Yeah. Have you done a waiver?
Along with the motion to reopen?
Yes. Have you done it?
Not actually. First, they told to apply for the motion to reopen. Then once they reopen, then we have to.
No. They're going to say there's no basis to reopen it because there's no waiver filed. So,
okay.
So you're going to get the motion to deny it again.
Okay.
My advice. Okay. My advice would be. Okay. Forget the motion to reopen. Your vow is approved. You can renew your work permit, so you're not in any danger. Nobody's deporting you. Let's take a step back. Let's file a new adjustment application, attach a very good waiver to it. The waiver is based on your individual hardship, that you would suffer an unusual hardship if you were not granted your green card.
Oh, okay. So, after the I-485 got denied by my work permit, it is expiring in December. So can I still keep working?
You are going to renew your work permit. It expires in December. You're going to file, and your work permit is probably under C9, which is you're granted a work permit because of an adjustment of status. You are also entitled to a work permit because you have an approved I-360 VAWA. So what I would do is I would file right now for the renewal of your work permit, and instead of C9 as a section of law that you are requesting it, you're going to say C31. File that now. As long as it's received now, your current work permit, which expires in December, automatically gets extended 180 days, and then hopefully you have these 2 months plus 180 days, they will mail you a new work permit. Then you're going to withdraw your motion to reopen because you're screwing it up royally. All right? You're going to file a new adjustment application with a good waiver and a new application for a work permit under C9 as well.
Okay. And if I apply for new adjustment of status, how long it takes? Again, it will be about a year?
Yes.
And what about the, if I go through applying 290B and a waiver along with that again,
That's going to take more than a year, less than a year, who knows? But you're doing it wrong anyway. When you do a motion to reopen, let me explain something to you. Okay? When you do a motion to reopen is not an appeal. A motion to reopen is, hey, you made a mistake. You should have it's a motion to reopen / motion to reconsider. A motion to reconsider is you made a mistake under the law. I'd like you to look at it again. A motion to reopen, which is what you're doing, is I have additional evidence to give you that I didn't give you before. Now, that additional evidence is the waiver. You didn't do it. So when you do your motion to reopen, you're going to say, I have additional evidence, but I didn't do it. But they're going to say, where's this evidence? There's no waiver. There's nothing here. Denied again. Yeah. I am telling you, you're doing it all wrong. Withdraw. I'm going to say it one last time. Sometimes I say the same thing 3-4 times. By the fourth time, it'll get in your head because I probably said the same thing to you on your last call. Withdraw, refile a new adjustment, do things right. This application is jinxed. You screwed it all up. When things are jinxed, things are going the wrong way, and you can refix it and do it right, and it takes the same amount of time. Get rid of the jinxed application. You screwed it up. Let's file it again and do it right. That's final answer, Regis.
Okay.
You ever see Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? They say, final answer, Regis, that's it. So now I've given you my answer. Hold on. Let's go to Yusef in Vancouver. Yusef.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Hi, Mr. Brad. I'm okay. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
So I'm calling you from Vancouver. Basically, the thing is that I moved here from the U.S. I was in the U.S. I was studying in there. I came as a visitor, a B1, B2, and changed it to an F1. I got admission. I was approved. I was studying. I started my college at community college and then went to another, found a better opportunity. And all of a sudden from there, I made a plan with, because of a friend of mine that he couldn't come to the States. He said, I will come to Canada and because he's a childhood friend, I did it. I moved here with him, for him. I got admission from Canada University. I moved from U.S. to Canada.
So basically, if I understand correctly, because it's a lot, if I understand correctly, you had a student visa, you entered a relationship with some person in Canada, you decided to move to Canada to be with this person and applied for a student visa for Canada, and there you are in Vancouver. That's what's happening.
Yes, I did a B1, an F1, came here.
Fine. All of a sudden, I just want to make sure I got it. I understand. What is your question?
Yeah, all of a sudden the friend backed up and, I'm left here, I'm homesick and everything. I'm just trying to come back and continue my study there.
Okay, so you're not happy in Canada?
No, I honestly don't have a place to live and everything is going bad here. I can't just stay.
So if if you have a valid B2 visa in your passport still or no?
It's expired. It's expired in
So then you need to reapply either, if you want to live in America, not just visit, you would need to reapply to a university in America, in the United States. And by the way, sometimes I say America, and I know America is bigger than the United States, but it's just, sometimes I say that, but I mean the United States. So you have to apply for a student visa, get into school, get the I-20, and apply for the student visa. That's what you need to do. You got to do it all over again.
So there's a community college which is offering me I-20. I have an option that I can.
Perfect. So
I'm just too worried because I have a very good travel history. I do not have refusal any in my life.
Perfect.
Also my family. I'm just scared, that I would go, they would be like, first you change your status in the U.S. from B1, B2. You came here, now you want to go back.
Okay, no, that's not the issue. Their issue is going to be, when you're done with your studies, what country are you originally from?
Pakistan.
Okay, when you're done with your studies, are you going back to Pakistan? That's going to be your issue. Okay, you need to show ties to Pakistan that you're going to return.
I have very strong ties. My father has a group of companies.
Then you don't have a problem.
He has been doing business for the past 23 years.
You're allowed to go to school in the United States, go to school in Canada, and then finish your school in the United States. That's not a problem. The United States just wants to know, when you're done with school, are you going back to Pakistan? That's it.
That's for sure.
That's what you need to show.
Thank you so much.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Ernesto in San Diego. Ernesto.
Hello?
Hi, Ernesto.
Hello?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, what's going on?
All right, so here's the question. I got an I-130 approved while my asylum case is pending. I am in the removal process. So my lawyer, I'm just so confused because my lawyer told me I have to, we need to send a 601 waiver, but she told me I need to get...
You mean the 601A?
601A, yeah, that's
Right,
correct. I'm
okay.
sorry.
So you entered without inspection.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Without inspection.
Right.
So, but she told me I cannot file while living inside of the U.S. I need to get out of the country.
Then she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's the whole purpose of the 601A. That you do it while you're in the U.S. so that you have an assurance when you leave, you're coming back.
Definitely, I need a new lawyer because
That's why
she's
you need a
pretty
new
much
lawyer.
telling me.
No. So
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing the waiver for unlawful presence, not for criminal activity, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then she doesn't know what she's talking about. So
Okay,
when you know more than your lawyer, that should be the light bulb in your head that says, I need a new lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. So how much is the cost for you? Because I'm looking for a lawyer.
$75 million. That's what I charge. $75 million.
Okay.
Hold on. I'll have a consultation. I'm only kidding. Hold on. All right. Let's go to Kingsley in Riverdale, Maryland. Kingsley in Riverdale, Maryland. Kingsley. Going once, Kingsley. Going twice, Kingsley. Kingsley. Poor Kingsley. We don't know what happened to him. Precious in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hey, Uncle Brad. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Okay, quick one. I had called in before, but I'm just trying to do a follow-up. I came to America in 2014 with a student visa, and in 2016 I had filed for asylum, and then in 2019 I fell in love and got married.
Right.
But this year I started withdrawing my asylum application because I wanted to adjust my status, and then I got a letter in the mail with an NTA for removal. I've been watching your show so far, and I see you tell people who have removal notice that they have to adjust their status in front of a judge. Mm-hmm. But now my question is, I already put in my I-130 application.
Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to go on the adjustment interview. They're going to interview you on the bona fides of your marriage. They should approve the I-130, assuming that you're in a valid bona fide marriage with your spouse. They will administratively close the I-45. Administrative closure means they're not approving it, they're not denying it, it's just sitting there. Then you're going to go to the judge. The I-45 will be transferred to the immigration judge. You will tell the immigration judge at your master calendar hearing, either one, I've already been on my adjustment interview, the I-130 is approved, the I-45 is administratively closed, or two, I filed my adjustment, we haven't had the interview yet. If it's the second one, the judge will postpone your master calendar and tell you to come back again in another day after you go on this interview. If your I-130 is already approved, the judge will say, okay, let's schedule you for a final interview for your adjustment.
The I-130 has been approved, so.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Let's go to Lauren in Tampa.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Okay. What can I do to help you?
So the issue is I am a permanent resident. I had a family member petition for me in 2018, so I've lived here since 2018. Last year, I fell in love and got married. My husband is Jamaican. We've been married for almost a year now.
Where's your husband?
He's in Jamaica.
Okay. Have you filed for him?
That is what I'm calling about.
Okay. What's the problem?
So we are expecting our first child in December.
Congratulations.
I haven't made any petitions for him or anything. We're a little confused as to whether or not we should go about petitioning while I'm a permanent resident, or we should wait a few years because he has a B1, B2 visa, and I go back and forth. So we're wondering what's the best step. Should we wait until I naturalize, or I should try to petition for him at this point?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
In the best of all worlds, because there's a lot of different options. In the best of all worlds, what do you want? What does he want? Does he want to be together with you with a green card as quickly as possible? Is that the goal?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fine.
He wants to be here.
Okay, fine. So he has a B1, B2 visa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He can come visit you, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
He can come visit you, right?
Yes, he can.
Okay. So he comes and visits you. 90 days after he visits you, but before his I-94 expires, maybe he changes his mind about visiting and wants to adjust his status, and you can do that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not entirely. I'm trying to
Okay.
follow.
So right now, F2A category, which is how you would be filing for him, those priority dates are current. They've been current for the last 2 years. Okay? Which means that a visa is immediately available to him.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Why, when you're married to an American citizen, are you allowed to adjust your status? Because a visa is immediately available to any person who marries an American citizen. So, for all intensive purposes, being in the F2A category, married to a resident, and being an immediate relative, married to a citizen, you're equal. Green card's available to you immediately in either one of those categories. The difference, as of this month, maybe next month it's different, but as of this month, and it's been like that for several years. Now, the difference is when you're married to a resident, you are only allowed to adjust your status if you're in legal status. If you overstay your visa, you're not allowed to adjust your status. If you're married to an American citizen, there is an exception to adjusting your status as an overstay. It's still allowed. So, one other rule. If you come as a visitor and adjust your status within the first 90 days, that's misrepresentation. Okay. So, let's rewind 3 minutes. What I said before. It's possible he can come up and visit. And 90 days later, before his I-94 expires, he changes his mind. And you file an adjustment for him, just as if you were an American citizen, before his I-94 status expires. That's allowable.
Okay.
That would be the fastest thing to do.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate it.
Good luck. All right. Hope she understood. Kingsley is awake now. Kingsley, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
All right. What's going on?
I'm good. Sir, I have two questions to ask.
Yes.
I was granted asylum, right? I have my family back home. So I just want to know how long can it take them to come here?
Well, you filed to have them to follow to join, right?
I'm not yet filed, sir.
Okay, so you got to do that right now. All right, the family following to join after your asylum is granted. Hopefully, it's supposed to take a year or less. I hope it takes 2 years or less. What country are they?
Yeah, I was granted asylum at December 2019.
Okay, why haven't you filed for them yet?
I was thinking that maybe I have to have a green card in my hand.
No. Do it now. They can follow to join you now. Do it now. All right. If you don't,
I-130?
No, not an I-130. I always get tongue-tied on forms. It's an I-8. What is it? Hold on 1 second. Oh my God! I'm having a senior moment. Oh no. No.
Oh, sorry, sir.
I'm having a senior moment. Senior moment.
Wow.
Forms. I'm just googling.
Form.
That's all right. Let's see. Senior moment. Senior. I bet you everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Brad, come on, you know what it is." Let's see. It's gonna be it's an I-8. No application for. He's following to join on the asylum. Oh my God! All right, all right. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put you on hold. We're gonna take your number and I'm gonna call you up after and tell you what it is. I can't look right now. All right. I just had a senior. It's an I-8 something. Joy in New Orleans.
All right. Thank you so much, Brad. I really appreciate it.
How are you?
Hello?
Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. My question, how are you doing?
Good.
My question is, how long does it take for somebody to file I-130 for the kids back in Africa, Nigeria? How long does it take?
Are you a resident or citizen?
I'm a resident, but my husband is a citizen. File for them.
Your husband, and they're under 18, right?
Yeah, they're under 18.
Okay, when did your husband file for them?
I filed for them around February this year.
All right, well, it's taking over a year for the I-130. And then you have Nigeria, which is a problem in of itself for two reasons. One, which is a problem worldwide, COVID, and all the embassies are short-staffed. And two, because Trump stopped immigration from Nigeria for so many years, there's years and years of backlogged people in Nigeria waiting for appointments. Though, combined with those, I can't give you an exact time, but a minimum of 2 years at this point. Hopefully not longer than that, but it could be. The only thing you can do to speed these things up is to request humanitarian expedites and give your best sad story on why you need these kids here. Maybe they have nobody to watch them. Maybe they're on the street. I don't know. Maybe there's a medical condition. We got to come up and figure out what the problems are.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I was thinking, Donald Trump, when Joe Biden get in, I was thinking they'll take the ban off or something that.
They did take the ban off. The problem is, but you got 3 years of people who didn't get through.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So hold on one second. Hold on. Let's go to Bleat in Dallas, Texas. To Bleat.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you, Brad?
Good.
Thank you for the information you're providing.
Thank you. By the way, it's the I-730. I kept saying I-8 something. It's the I-730. I was off 100. Thank you very much. Sometimes I get tongue-tied with my forms. Somebody to remember. A lot of forms to remember. Tablet, what's happening in Dallas, Texas?
Okay, long story short, I married in 2014.
Yes.
My husband is a U.S. citizen.
Mm-hmm.
After that, 2017, we broke up, but not divorced. And then I met someone. I had a baby from him.
Okay.
August 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it with my husband again. January 2019.
Wait, I'm confused. You got married, you broke up with your husband but did not divorce him. You had a relationship with another man, you had a baby, and then you went back to the husband. So basically, for all intents and purposes, you cheated on your husband, and now you went back to him and he's still taking you back.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. Okay. Now, you need a green card?
I already a green card. My question is, how can I bring my daughter, and how can I file for my fiance? Because I already.
Wait. What happened?
My husband divorced me.
Rewind, please. I'm not fishing. I'm rewinding. Do you have a green card right now?
Yes.
Okay. Your husband filed for you for the green card, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When did you get your green card?
2019.
When did you give birth to this child that was not from your husband?
It was out of my country is Africa.
I didn't ask you what country you're from. My question to you, you got a green card through a man and you gave birth to a baby from a different man. You got your green card in 2019, and my question to you is, when did you get this baby from the different man?
We broke up.
I don't want to hear a story. Just give me a date. What is the baby's birthday?
2018.
Okay. When you got your green card in 2019, did the Immigration Service, were they aware that you gave birth to a baby in 2018 that was not your husband's baby?
Do
they know this?
No.
They don't know this?
They don't, yeah.
All right. And this fiance that you want to file for in Africa, is this the father of this 2018 born baby?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you have an issue, okay? And your issue is that you gave birth, you had a relationship with a man outside of the marriage, you gave birth. The Immigration Service gave you a green card based on a bona fide marriage to a man, yet you had a baby from a different man in 2018. You did not tell immigration about this baby. That is extraordinarily material to determine whether or not your marriage to the husband who you got the green card was a valid bona fide marriage. There are bona fide marriages where spouses cheat. Spouses cheat all the time. And as long as you can prove it's still a bona fide marriage, despite the fact that you cheated on your husband, you still may have been eligible for a green card. But because the Immigration Service was not aware that you had a child born outside of the marriage when you claimed to be living with this husband, and you kept that information from the Immigration Service, when they find out about this baby, they are going to question severely the bona fides of your marriage. You could have your green card taken away. So you have a huge, huge problem. Big. Okay? I wouldn't be worrying so much about my fiance, I'd be worrying about my ass, myself. So hold on one second. Let's go to Nur in Chicago. Nur.
Hey, Brad. How are
you?
Yeah, I have a dismissed case from BIA 6-7 years ago. And I recently filed for I-730 with my wife. She got her asylum approved last year.
Now we remember. We will remember for the rest of our lives the I-730, yes? That is the following to join refugee and asylum.
It's been like pending like 7-8 months.
Right.
Nothing from USCIS.
Yeah, it's gonna be over a year.
Yeah, my question is, while my I-730 is pending, can I can I open my removal order from BIA? Just showing the receipt of my I-730 and showing some...
Well, I thought your asylum was granted. It was not granted?
No, my wife's asylum is granted.
Ah, I understand. Yes, you should. You should try to make. Yes, you should. You should try to reopen that case immediately.
Yeah, without approval of I-730.
Yeah, because you have a marriage to your wife, so it's obvious the relationship's there. Your wife's asylum. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, we also got a couple kids.
Yes, why wouldn't you? I would do it.
I talked to a couple lawyers. They told me you have to wait till your I-730 approval.
I would do it as a joint motion.
Yeah, because it might take another year to get my approval.
I would do it as a joint motion. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go to Cheatin in Seattle, Washington.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So I had a question. So I have a spouse who is on O3 visa. Her I-94 is expiring soon, but we are filing an extension. My question is, down the line, can I add her as a beneficiary on my I-485? Does she, even if her extension
what is her status right now? What extension for what type of visa?
So she's on O3 right now.
On OPT?
O3.
Oh, O3, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm on O1.
You're the O1, she's the O3. The answer is yes. If you're filing an adjustment, that means you have an I-140 approved, right?
Yep.
Okay. Or you're an EB1 or an EB2?
EB1.
Okay. So did you get your I-140 approved already?
Yeah, I just got it approved, but her visa, her I-94 expires in 2 weeks, so we are just filing for her extension.
Okay.
Do we have to wait for her extension to be approved?
I would be filing an adjustment in the next 14 days. I wouldn't even be bothered filing the O3 extension.
That's just too less of a time, right? So because she's just joining me. I mean, it's a long story, but she's just joining me tomorrow.
Oh, she's not here.
Yeah, she's in Canada. She lives just across the border.
Okay. I mean, you can file an adjustment within a day and overnight it, but yeah, you can file the extension of the 03.
So the I-94 date is does not need to be valid.
If you file the extension, you can file the adjustment, but make sure the extension gets approved. You can't ignore the extension. If you file the adjustment within the next 14 days, you don't worry about whether the extension is approved or not. Either way, an 01, 02, 03, 01 is the primary extraordinary ability alien. The 02 is somebody who comes to assist that alien. The 03 is the spouse. They're all dual intent visas, so you could have the intent to be a non-immigrant and immigrant. The difference is if you get the adjustment filed in the next 14 days, you don't have to worry about an extension. If you file the adjustment in 28 days, you got to make sure your extension is filed within 14 days, and you got to make sure that extension is approved. My question to you would be this. It's just as easy to file an I-45 in the next 14 days as it is to file an 03 extension in the next 14 days. It's the same. It's just a different form. It's the same amount of time and work. Do the adjustment. That's what I would do.
Oh, I see. So, but we would need the receipt, right? I-140 receipt to arrive in the next few days.
You file an adjustment application with a pending I-140 and your adjustment. She's entitled to adjust. If your I-140 is approved, she's entitled to adjust. It doesn't really matter. Just file her adjustment with receipt copies of your I-45 and receipt copies of your I-140. That's enough. They'll see the case number and they'll see the I-140 is approved. But even if it's not, she's still entitled to adjust.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But you can do it either way.
Yeah, but I was more concerned about the second way because so we don't have to wait in the second case that I let the 03 get approved and then file for it.
No,
right?
you can file. Okay. You can file with the 03 pending.
Okay.
But if the 03 is denied, the extension is denied, your wife's I-45 would be denied. So you got to
have a relatively straightforward.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just telling you. So just make sure that the 03 gets approved, and it's not a problem. You can't just ignore that 03.
Makes sense. Yeah, my 01 is extended already.
Okay, fine.
For extension.
Okay,
so
fine.
All right. Makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Garang in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Garang.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right.
What's going on?
My question is, I submitted my file for DACA in the last month, and I got the receipt and everything. I came in here the 2006, sometime cold, maybe winter, January or February.
Okay, you filed the VAWA and you came in 2006. That's what I understand so far.
Yes, sir. And I born in 1991, so my lawyer said you can apply the DACA because at that time I was a 15 or 16-year-old. I didn't remember good well.
Okay.
And I want to know, is it they are reopen again, or I just forgot it? Because I need to visit my dad. He was sick in India, so that's why
you can file a DACA. They're not going to do anything about it until the regulations are approved. Federal judges allowing immigration to accept DACA applications but not adjudicate them. Once Biden's new regulations get approved, I assume they will start to be adjudicated. But at the moment, a new DACA applicant who has never ever filed DACA before is not going to get anything at the moment.
Okay. So do you know maybe when, like 6 months, they take a 6 month, 2 months, anything like that? Or?
I would assume within the next several months. They got to let the regulatory process play itself out, and then they got to file a final rule. So I hope sometime over the winter. Now, did you say you had a VAWA case as well?
No, not a VAWA. I'm DACA.
Oh, just DACA. Okay, I know I heard DACA, but I thought in the beginning you said VAWA too. So, and you've never and you never filed DACA ever in your life?
This is the first time, sir.
What? Just out of curiosity, why did you wait all these years?
Because I don't have good information actually, and I don't have good guidance.
Sure.
So that's why I'm like, yeah.
All right.
I'm like,
all right, hang in there. You're going to be able to do it in a few months, and then you'll be able to get your work permit. And if your dad is sick, you'll be able to show he's sick, and you'll get an advance parole to travel to.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, and I love your show.
Oh,
Okay?
thank you very much. Keep watching. You'll get good information.
Thank you, sir.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Let's go to LaToya in Orlando.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Question. Okay, so my sister, she's currently in Jamaica. Mom was filing for her, but she passed.
Okay.
So, my question is it possible for me to take over her filing because
possibly. Let me ask you a question. How far did Mom's filing get? Was the I-130 approved?
Actually, right now it's at the Visa Center.
Okay.
It's
When
current.
when your mom passed, the I-130 was already at the Visa Center?
I'm not sure. She just recently got it in the mail.
Okay. All right. So this is the story. You as a sister can substitute in for your deceased mom and finish the case as long as you can show humanitarian reasons why your sister in Jamaica needs to come to the U.S. So you would have to revalidate the I-130 that was approved, substitute yourself in, show humanitarian reasons. It would get reinstated and then resent back to the National Visa Center with one caveat. You're only allowed to do it if the history of the case happened in this order. I-130 approved first, then mom died. If mom died first and then I-130 approved, we can't do it.
Okay.
So that's the first thing you got to look. So if it was this order, I-130 visa petition approved, then mom passed, you can substitute in, reinstate the I-130 based on humanitarian reasons, get it back to the National Visa Center, and then your sister would come.
Okay, one more question. My sister is not, we're the same father, but we're not the same mother.
You're still the sister.
Okay. Okay, so...
I mean, you would have to show that you'd have the same father. And was the father married to any of the mother?
He was married to my mom.
Okay, so your sister in Jamaica, all right, you were born out of a marital relationship between your mom and dad, and then you share a half a sister in Jamaica. So you would have...
my sister, they got married after both of us was born.
It's the same father, same mother?
Yeah, no, we got the same father, but different mom.
Okay. So my question to you was, your father, your biological father, your biological mother were married, correct?
No, after both of us got
I don't care when it happened. Was your biological mother and biological father married together?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's fine. Okay. Now, your sister, the biological father was never married to your sister's biological mother, correct?
No.
Right. So you just have to prove that your biological father's your biological father because he was married to your mother even after you were born. All right? Your sister has to prove not only that this man is her biological father as well, but also has an additional step to prove that the father and her had a parent-child relationship between birth and 18.
Okay.
Then that would consider, under the immigration laws, you would be considered sisters.
Okay.
You need help. Hold on. Let's go to Rita in Newark, New Jersey. Rita.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm fine. So I have a friend who came to the U.S. With a B1, B2 and has been here for almost 5 years. It's going to be 5 years in April. And she just recently met someone and they engaged, but we found out that this guy was convicted of child pornography back in 2011. So I just want to seek some legal advice and find out if it's possible for him to petition for her.
Yes, but because he's probably on the child sex register list and he was found guilty of a crime under the Adam Walsh Act, probably we have to actually see what he was found guilty of, but most likely he would. Your friend would need a waiver under the Adam Walsh Act to show that her life is not in any danger living with a man who was convicted of child pornography. The Adam Walsh waivers take a very long time. They are not far from guaranteed to get approved. They're difficult cases. If this is the man you love and he wants to file for you, yes, do it. Just know it's going to be a long, tedious, frustrating process that may or may not lead to success at the end.
Right.
You know, that's
in the
your
meantime,
decision.
So in the meantime, what status will she be having? Because technically, when I understand, she's an illegal.
She would have a pending adjustment. She would get a work permit. She'd get her travel permission. Just the adjustment and the waiver will take a long time. This is my history of doing it. And we get them approved, but you have to prove to a reasonable certainty that this person's life is not in danger, you know, with, you know, living with the person who is guilty of, you know, sex abuse or child pornography, whatever it may be. You know, and we've had, you know, we've spoken to psychiatrists and psychologists, and they could say, listen, I can tell you I'm certain that this person is not dangerous, but I can't tell you to 100% certainty. Nobody can. So, and that's the level that immigration needs to prove. A lot of times we end up arguing, you know, legal semantics that this person doesn't need an Adam Walsh waiver because he was convicted of a crime that falls outside of the purview of the law. So that's why I said maybe he needs it, maybe he doesn't. I would actually have to see the actual section of law that he was found guilty of.
Right. So the second question is, she has a sibling that has been here for years, and she just filed for citizenship, I think back in May. So she's hopefully waiting to get the citizenship. So if she gets the citizenship, will she be able to petition for her as a sibling under this Biden administration?
The sibling's not going to help. Whether it's the Biden administration, the Jones administration, the Shapiro administration, the Trump administration, sisters take 15 years. Not going to make a difference, not going to help.
Oh, so the sibling cannot petition for the
answer is
sibling?
The sibling can, if you want to wait 15 years. I don't think anybody wants to wait 15 years.
Right. Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's go to Mary in Dallas.
Hi, Mr. Brown.
Hi, how are you?
doing?
Good.
Yes, sir. I have a little problem.
What's a little problem?
I've been here for 4 years, and I have 2 kids. I brought them in. Actually, I came in 2016 for vacation from Nigeria. Then I went back home to pick my kids. So last Tuesday, my kids was accused in school for stealing a teacher's pen, and the principal called emergency for my daughter the next day, that I flogged her, that I disciplined her. Then I got arrested and was took to jail.
Okay, so the teacher accused your daughter of stealing a pen, and then you came home, and there's an accusation by your daughter the next day that you hit her.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your status?
It's a non-immigrant. I don't have anything.
You have nothing.
I was paid. Yes, I was paid for $15,000.
All right. Ultimately, you know, if you're found guilty of a domestic violence against a child, I don't know if child services came in, they took the child away. You know, they can put you in deportation, and they can put you in deportation even if you're found innocent, because in Texas they'll put anyone in deportation who goes through the criminal system. So you got problems.
Okay. So what do you think I should do? Can I seek an asylum?
I don't know what you should do. I think you need a consultation. I'm not going to solve your problem, you know.
All right. I'll do
on a live show. Hold on one second. All right. By the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram at RealBradBernstein. You follow me on Instagram at RealBradBernstein. You can drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your question as best I can. I had a guy come in today. He says, I dropped you a question on your DM. I couldn't believe that you answered it. I was showing all my friends. Look, Uncle Brad answered my. He was showing me. Look, I was telling all my friends.
That's what we do.
You couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it. I go, of course I said. If I say I'm going to do it, I would do it. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, sometimes it takes me a few days because I'm busy, but I'll try to respond.
You get there.
And of course, you can also follow us at Brad Show Live. You can't handle 2 hours of me and Vanessa and Yo-Yo when he's not under the weather. Follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram. And of course, our fastest growing social media platform, TikTok. Follow us on TikTok, where you can leave a comment or a question, and you may get a video answer from me as well at Bradshaw Live.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.ContrerasTV. And now, NYC 2021 Reproductive Rights March attendee Donna Caller tells us the #1 thing she would like to see in U.S. immigration reform. And we'd like to see what changes you would like to see in immigration reform. Leave it in the comments, squad.
What is the #1 change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
I would love to see immigration reform include job training. You know, we have such a shortage of labor here in this country, and they keep thinking that it's because people don't want to work because they're getting unemployment. And I don't believe that that's the case, since unemployment's at 5%. So we had all of these Haitians come into this country. Now, I don't know why the hospitality industry could not have sponsored these people, given them training, and let them fill the jobs in the hotels and the restaurants where they could be contributing members of society, and it's a win-win all the way around. But no, we send them back.
Later in the show, we're going to be hearing the final part of my interview with Ukrainian-American inventor and CEO of Better Way Goods, LLC, Alina Kravchenko, about her recent appearance on the ABC TV show Shark Tank and her advice to becoming a successful entrepreneur. But right now, Vanessa's been scouring the comments for the best comments, questions, and issues. Social media check-in. Vanessa, what do we got?
Okay, let's get into it. Hilton Hoover, a Brad Squad VIP member. And to become a Brad Squad VIP member, you must be a part of our Facebook group. And if you ask your questions there early on in the day, those are the first 5 questions that we ask now during social media check-in. So if you want to lock in your question, you must make sure to be a Brad Squad VIP. So he asks, I went to my citizenship interview today, and the immigration officer told me to bring my husband. Well, she asked. He asked us individual questions, and some of our answers were not the same. They then said they will send me a letter in the mail and that they can't make a decision now. What do you think will happen?
I think your citizenship's going to be denied. You're basing it on a bona fide marriage of 3 years, and they've determined that you may not be in a bona fide marriage.
Andrea Wilson, another Brad Squad VIP member. I filed my adjustment papers and applied for a work permit in May of this year. I did my biometrics on July 29th. I got a notice that they are ready to schedule an interview in relation to my I-845 application to register for permanent residence.
485. It's a 485, yeah.
Okay.
She wrote it wrong. Yeah. I'm just correcting. That's all.
I need to know the order in which the work permit and interview are done. Do I need to get an interview before the work permit, or should the permit be granted before the interview?
Nothing is a should in life. There are no shoulds in life. But generally, the work permit is granted before your adjustment interview.
Abdul Kareem on YouTube, can I apply for the DV lottery visa while undocumented in the U.S. without leaving the country?
You can apply, but if you win, how are you going to get your green card?
Dwayne Gordon on YouTube, I'm a green card holder. Can I file for my undocumented son? He's over 21. I'll be eligible to a citizen in a year. If so, what documents do I submit with the I-130?
Just an I-130. Your son gets put on a waiting list. In about 5 years, whether you're a citizen or resident, give or take a year, maybe 6, your son, unless he's 245I, which I doubt, would need a provisional waiver, go home and come back.
Nai Gandhi on YouTube, is the VAWA C09 EAD parole only valid for educational, employment, humanitarian, and family visit purposes? Can it be used for holidays abroad? Also, is there a way to add a travel permit to an EAD category C30?
Okay, C30. The answer is no to the advanced parole. Number 2, on the DACA, you can't get advanced parole to take a trip. It has to be for an educational purpose or a family emergency.
On the VAWA, you said DACA. On the VAWA, you mean? No?
Didn't this person at DACA or VAWA?
Is the VAWA C09 EAD parole?
Oh, C09 EAD
C09
parole on
EAD.
VAWA. You can do it for any reason. You can do it for a trip. I thought it was DACA. Advanced parole.
Okay.
My apologies. C09 advanced parole, yes, you can do it for a holiday.
Okay. Priscilla Lauren on YouTube. Can I travel and come back to the U.S. with advanced parole? I came here on an F1 visa and applied for asylum. I'm in removal proceedings and my hearings is in 2024.
No, if you leave, you self-deported.
Nadia Lewis Wallace, Facebook. I got my citizenship on September 27th and my son turned 18 on September 20th. Is he qualified to get citizenship through me?
No, because you became a citizen after he turned 18. There is some case law, but those are hard cases where if your citizenship was delayed for years and it wasn't your fault, that possibly he can retroactively become a citizen, but you would have to go through federal court for that. But for all intents and purposes, you missed it by 7 days.
Norcia Joachim on YouTube. Can I get in trouble if I apply for insurance while applying for my citizenship?
You can get insurance.
Ermal Kos on YouTube. If I came to the U.S. when I was over age 18, would I get to apply for any program like DACA? I came to the U.S. 18 years old and never left the country.
DACA, you had to be here. Under 16, and you had to be here June 15th, 2007, and been under 31 on June 15th, 2012. You do not qualify for DACA. How old is he now?
Didn't
say. If you're under 21 and you're an abandoned, neglected, or abused child, and you are living with an adult who's your guardian, that adult can go into family court, get legal guardianship of you, prove that you're abandoned, abused, and neglected, get that special ruling from a family court judge, and then you can file as a special immigrant juvenile. And that can be done up till 21. I just don't know how old he is.
Kimberlyn Burris on YouTube. Can a U.S. citizen file for his mother, and then when the I-130 gets approved and sent to NVC, can the mother add her 18-year-old child as a derivative on her visa process?
No, there's no derivative family members on U.S. citizen son or daughter filing for a parent. So just the parent. 2 more.
Jules Armand on YouTube. Can I apply for humanitarian advance parole for my kids if I am an asylee seeker? My wife and I are here and we are asylee seekers.
Get approved first. Then you can do the I-730. I'll never forget that form again in my life.
Okay, and very last one, Brad, of all the forms,
yes.
So many forms. Last one comes from Suzanne Johnson on Facebook. Do I need to file a separate I-824 for each child who is a derivative of a VAWA applicant? The children are living in the Caribbean while their parents are in the U.S.
You can list all the children on one I-824. All right, Alina Kravchenko, she's an inventor and the CEO of Better Way Goods Limited Liability Corporation, and recently appeared on the ABC TV show Shark Tank with her first invention, the Swipe and Snap. This week on the show, Alina and I have discussed her journey to America from Ukraine and how a particularly tough time in her life eventually led her to a successful entrepreneurship. Today, Alina tells us in our final part of our interview about her experience with the sharks, what their final deal was on Shark Tank, and her advice to aspiring inventors and entrepreneurs. Let's watch. Alina Kravchenko is a Ukrainian-American inventor and CEO whose mission is to empower women one invention at a time. The busy single mom taught herself how to patent her creations on her own, and on January 22nd, 2021, Alina appeared on the ABC show Shark Tank with her first invention, Swipe and Snap, the U.S. patented one-hand diaper cream applicator, where she caught the attention of the sharks in more ways than one. And she has just recently launched the Toner Bum, the world's first and only U.S. patented glute toning dumbbell. Joining me to discuss her family's immigration journey and her path to becoming a successful inventor and the CEO of her own company is Alina Kravchenko. Welcome, Alina, and thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk to you and be able to be part of this conversation.
So on Shark Tank, you went to give your pitch. What was the process of getting on the show?
Oh, that was exciting. So it took a lot out of me to be able to go in front of not only the sharks, but potentially in front of America. right? There's a lot of like fear that I think holds people back. And for me, it was like, well, what am I afraid of? Like, is it my sales? Well, the goal of my initial launch wasn't really to get sales. It was to see where the market is with the product. And during the process, I'm not allowed to talk about like the actual, like what happened during the process. Private information. I signed, I think, like a book this thick.
Okay.
I didn't even read it. I don't even know what I signed.
Right, you're just like, get me on the show.
Okay. But it was during COVID, so there was a lot of new different things that the team was having to do in order to keep the show going because it was during lockdown.
Sure.
And it was a very isolating experience because I didn't want to put myself at risk for, potentially getting sick, and that would make me lose the opportunity to meet the sharks. So I stayed inside a lot, and it definitely tested me on a lot of levels. It was a very, very, very challenging time because I had a lot on my plate, plus the Shark Tank. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep praying that everything's gonna work out as it is.
Now every pitch on Shark Tank, and for those who don't know, what happens is that you go on stage and you give your pitch and you ask for money in return for a percentage of the business from these sharks, who are very wealthy individuals in their own right and successful business people. And you try to convince one of these sharks or multiple sharks to invest in your business. And then the hook is that if you get multiple sharks interested in your business, maybe you can negotiate one against the other to try to get a better deal for yourself. So the sharks are trying to get the best deal for themselves. You're trying to get the best deal for yourself. Did you have a theory going in on, strategy, or you just said, I'm going to just present it?
I wasn't really looking for them to compete. I really wanted to partner up with the people that were going to bring this product connected to the right people in order to get the licensing. My gut feeling immediately said Lori and Kevin. Like when I walked on stage, even before that, I've always wanted to work with Lori. She's incredible. She's a woman. She's an entrepreneur. She's driven. Kevin is brilliant. I love him. I think both of them balance each other so well. So to be able to partner up with both of them, not just for this idea, but potentially like future relationship, I think was really my goal.
For those who don't watch Shark Tank, Lori Greiner, she's an American television personality, inventor, and entrepreneur. She's been known as the queen of QVC shopping channel since 2000. And of course, you're also talking about Kevin O'Leary, who's a Canadian businessman, author, politician, television personality. And those two were ultimately the ones who you pitched on Shark Tank, of all the sharks who then became investors in your business. What was your funding that you asked for?
I asked for 10% for $120,000 of my company. But really what I wanted was the licensing. And that's where Lori, she already knew that's where I was going. And she immediately was like, this is a licensing. Boom, bingo, we're on the same page. Lori's got my back. I mean, she's amazing. She's, so busy, but yet still willing to make time for, me. And
Are they involved in your company right now, or they just invest and leave it to their other people?
So right now the deal is contingent that they get me the licensing deal. So we are in a searching of licensing opportunities as a team. So that is in a current progress state.
Did you get the 10%?
50%. 50 for $120,000 contingent that they get me the licensing deal. So if you really look at the big picture, think about the licensing deal. If they were to get me one with a big player, then I get 50%. Well, I have to share with my investor, which I'm fine because he taught me a lot and I'm grateful. So that's my payback for teaching me everything that I know. So I would split the 50% with my investor, and then they would take 25% each of the licensing opportunity, not the company. It's a pure licensing exchange.
Yeah, I understand. We have pictures of you on Shark Tank. You want fairy godmother wings. Why?
It just made sense, like the fairy godmother of invention. And I mean, I was like, let's do it. I love this.
And your mom appeared also. That must have been very special for both of you.
Well, actually, my sister was supposed to be my person. A week before, I had to find out that my sister couldn't make it. So I was like, Mom, I need you, please. And my mom just pitched in last minute, and it just so happened to be like, it flowed. It just made sense, and like the whole immigration story. And I think that like it really showed who I am. So I'm really grateful that like it worked out that way.
And another shark, Robert Herzhavec, he heard your family's immigration story. He told you his family's immigration story of having to leave what is now present day Croatia for Canada because his father had been labeled an anti-communist. And your story obviously struck a chord with him.
Yeah, I think he really understood the struggle that my mom went through in order to give us the opportunity. And I think that was a really beautiful connection.
Now, you're also giving interviews, not just here on Bradshaw Live, but in many places and podcasts and mentoring people about how you achieved your patent success. How's that been going?
It's been great. I love helping people. So when people come to me and they ask me for advice, I give them the formula. I tell them this is the path I took. And I started writing articles because I'm getting a lot of the same questions. So at alinainventor.com, I have a little blog section for like, I have a lot of questions that like, how do you create a patent from nothing? And I wrote out in detail, this is the process I took. But people will read that and say, oh my gosh, that's so much. It's so overwhelming. I don't want to do it. Well, if you can't even read an article and start, then like being an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurship's not for you then. Every long journey starts with the first step. I mean, your journey to success started leaving Ukraine at 9.
That's right.
And the other overarching theme is when everything looks its bleakest, having a child pregnant and having no support system, no money, no job, no nothing. How am I going to feed this child? It was ultimately that child that fueled your idea to your success, which is ironic in a way too.
It really is. Like, I think when you face a problem or a challenge, most people will begin to focus on the problem. But the moment they actually change their perception and their viewpoints and actually look for opportunities in their, what they call external challenges, and actually train their brain to look for solutions instead of complaining, you will see the world in a new way. Invention is creating a solution to a problem. Think about all the things that we have in the world now. They are solutions to problems that we all face, right?
That's true. But now you have more than one patent and invention though, right? Tell me about your other patents.
Oh, my motto is, I'm just getting started, okay? Here we go. Because my original patent idea, when I was in college and I was sitting a lot on my computer, my desk, I was like, I am feeling like lower back pain and my glutes are starting to sag, and I was young. And I went to a physical therapist and he's like, oh, there's this lazy butt syndrome. And I was like, what is that? It's like, it's basically where you sit for too long and your glutes get weak. And that causes actual like hip injuries potentially. And also the lower back pain you're experiencing is because your glute muscles are weak. So he's like, you need to do donkey kicks with a dumbbell behind your leg. So I have this workout I put together. So here are the donkey kicks. So for those of you who don't know what they look like, so you're lifting, you have the weight here and then you lift. But here's the problem. When you put a handheld dumbbell behind the back of your leg, it's very hard to hold still. And if it would fall, and what if there's an ergonomic horse-shaped shoe dumbbell that goes behind the back of your leg, okay? And this idea was just sitting in the back of my head for now, 20 years, because I was like in college, like early 20s. So I would do this workout all the time with a handheld dumbbell. But I kept thinking about every time I did that workout, I'm like, I cannot wait to bring this product to life. So Swipe and Snap actually gave me the confidence.
So you went back to the patent office a second time.
Patent attorney, he's, bless his heart, I love him. He gives me the best advice. He's like, this is so obvious. you really think you're going to get a patent for this? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I have a gut feeling I'm going to get a patent for it. And he's like, all right. And I was like, just do it. Here's my money. Take it and do it.
The names of your products are so creative, and the toner bomb, the swipe and snap. Who's coming up with these names?
Me! I come up with all of my brand names. And fun fact, I actually designed the logo, and I take almost all the pictures, all the videos. I code all the websites. I do almost everything for all my products. I literally am like the jack of all trades.
Where can everyone find all of your products that you have on market right now if they want to buy any of this?
Okay, so I have one website that has all my products. It's alinainventor.com. Or you can go to swipeandsnap.com for Swipe and Snap, and it's on Amazon as well. And I recently just now launched the Toner Bum, and you can get that at tonerbum.com and also on Amazon.
What does it cost?
So the Toner Bum is $49 on Amazon. It's $59 on my website. Swipe and Snap is $19 on my website and $24 on Amazon.
What is your American dream?
My American dream is to be able to bring products to market that make people's lives better. And it is so rewarding and fulfilling to see people use my products and know that it's making their lives better.
Well, Alina Kravchenko, Ukrainian American inventor, congratulations on all of your success. And what a wonderful story. Thank you for coming on.
Can I just say one thing to all the viewers out there? I'm so grateful for you to be able to watch this here in this country. I send you many prayers, and may your family, may you be healthy and happy. Stay positive, focus on the positive, believe, and don't give up.
Fantastic. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, believe and don't give up, Vanessa.
I love that.
Right? Believe and don't give up.
I love that. So, right before we went into that segment and our social media check-in, I asked you guys to put in the comments what changes you would like to see in immigration reform. And we have 2 comments, one from Sasha Ford saying, change the law so that anyone can sponsor their family members. And then we also heard from Beast Derange on YouTube. I would love to see VAWA time reduced to 2 years.
I agree with both.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay, right.
Let's start immigration questions.
Okay, let's see. Time is on. And here I go. Can an undocumented person do an adjustment of status?
If they're married to a U.S. citizen and made a legal entry, yeah.
Will my wife's naturalization interview be delayed if I am out of state?
If you're
out of status.
If you're out of status, no.
How long does it take to get a work permit after filing?
6 months.
Can I apply for a work permit within months of filing for asylum?
You have to wait 1 year.
What is deferred inspection?
That means they haven't admitted you into the United States yet.
Can I use only my SSA income to sponsor my wife?
You can try, but it may be below the poverty level.
Can I file for VAWA if my green card was denied?
Yes.
How long does an I-824 approval take?
At least 6 to 9 months.
How long after joining the Army will I get citizenship?
1 year.
Done. I-824 has been messing me up all show.
Really? That's so funny. The I-730 messed me up all show.
I-824.
The I-824, that's the transfer approval generally from the local office to the NVC.
All show.
All right. I-824. I had the I-730. I had brain fog.
I-824.
All right.
We have some comments of the day. Okay. Our first comment of the day comes from Jessica Limi Joel Davis. Still getting used to the Davis. I get the news from Brad and my husband. I feel that.
Okay. All right. She's got 2 men in her life giving her news.
Okay. Next one. Seema Singh says, hello, Mr. Brad and team. Love you so much for the amazing job y'all are doing and the educational lessons and hope.
Thank you.
It's the hope for me, too.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Joan Erica says, no other lawyer except Brad is giving this kind of advice for free.
That is true.
That is very true.
That is very true.
And our last one, Sasha Ford saying, Uncle Brad, you're the best. Your level of patience is unmatched. Continue to help those who are lost.
Glad people, some people say my patience is not that. But at least I'm glad the squad thinks I have a lot of patience.
Yeah, Sasha Ford's a VIP, so we appreciate you, Sasha.
Sometimes I don't have patience, but for the most part I do.
For the most part, you do.
But I'm only human. But thank you very much, Sasha. I appreciate it. Everyone have a great weekend. I am going off to Los Angeles tomorrow morning to see my son in his first National Collegiate Athletic Association game.
Wow, that's huge.
Yes, the first Bernstein to play college sports. We're not very good athletes. I don't know what happened.
Someone had to do it.
Somebody had to do it. All right, I'll be back Monday live for Fuzzy Monday.
Fuzzy Monday.
Have a great weekend, everyone. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein Law Firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?